So, game. Again, I joined a little bit late into a tournament match between TheButtonMen and GreyIce. Last time we saw the status quo take on and defeat Implosion. This time we are watching TheButtonMen take on his arch nemesis GreyIce. The interesting thing about this game is that Button has informed me that the deck he is playing was built by the Blizzard deck builder. It was one of the precons that you can choose at the beginning of the Blizzard deck builder. And so it's potentially not optimized. Okay. Potentially. That said, this is now the third Savannah high main I have seen. So if you get to run 3 Savannah high mains, sounds good to me, right? And he took the King's Elec. I wonder if you could take the Dread Scale there. It's not outrageous. Kills his Disciple of Cthulhu! Cthulhu! It does leave him with some stuff, I guess. So it looks like Buttons is going to go with Unleash the Doggies. I think the best line here is just to play that high main. Yeah. I guess he found it off the spider. No. He must have played another spider. He must have found that one off a previous spider. So I guess that this is the last high main, which sounds kind of deeply ominous. It looks like it's going to be eating an execute here, and then probably like a brawl or something to follow it up. That would be my guess as to what's going on. Execute. There's the execute. And really, Buttons is on quite a short clock here, because as soon as the Cthulhu comes out, which I assume is like enormous. We've got to see here 14-14. Oh my god, and this is a disaster as well. Actually, just in and of itself, this is already probably unbeatable. Like if he wasn't gonna summon a 14 agent or something. But there you go. Unleash the Hounds here. They're both 2/2s, so he can trade in for one guy like this, and then the other one. Alright, so the other one is a lot more difficult. I'm not quite sure what he's going to do. He might even just pass the turn. I think rather than playing the Elec, he was supposed to equip the Eaglehorn bow there, so he could trade in a Hyena and the Eaglehorn bow. Now, as is, what probably happens is this attacks into his Leop. Never mind, that's probably game. I'm not sure this deck is especially well equipped to deal with a 14-14 with no board and no cards in hand except a bow. Let's see what this amazing top deck is. It's a Toad. Now, as you might be aware, I'm quite a fan of Toads, but Old Gods are on a slightly different power level overall. Toad should have an Old God. Although, given Shay's wonderful Yogg-Sarongs the other day, I do wonder whether you might have rather had an old Toad. An old Toad? The old Toads. Oh yeah, the deep ones. No, might have rather had a giant Toad than a Yogg-Saron in some of those circumstances. Anyway, at least the Yogg-Sarons he was drawing. So, GreyIce takes down game 1. The Blizzard Precon not quite strong enough to bring Buttons the victory against the Cthulhu warrior. Cthulhu! He brought the beats that went all over Buttons' board, and that was the end of the game. So, Thrall now. A Thrall off. He's thralled his opponent. Looks like we have a decent hand here. Sir Finley Murgleton. Typically pretty good in Shaman, because unless you're like actually trying to get use out of your totems with Primal Fusion and Thing from Blow and stuff, the Shaman hero power is not actually that strong. It's funny because a lot of the Shaman totems are actually super good. It's just that the fact that you could get a healing stream totem that does nothing on a particular board really kills the hero power. So I think Finley's pretty good. Plus he's like a 1-3 for 1. It's pretty hard to be a bad 1-3 for 1 in this game. Pretty much. The problem is that pretty much life tap is excellent. I would probably take that. The only issue with taking life tap is you might be against an aggressive deck, but generally life tap is just spectacular in these low curve shaman decks.
Greetings, friend.
It's like, for reasons you can probably imagine.
Greetings, friend.
Ooh, Flame Juggler is the play of his opponent. So he could play his own Flame Juggler here. It doesn't especially do anything. I'm not sure where he wants to juggle, whether it's better for it to go face or to hit the Finley, his opponent's Flame Juggler. Just play it. Curve play. That takes out Finley. So now he can play the Horse Rider, trade that into the 2/2, attack with the Flame Juggler into the 1/1.
The cavalry's here.
And then he has a 2/3 and a 2/1 against nothing. I don't like this line. Yeah, he pushes 4 more face damage, but now, for example, GreyIce can trade the 1/1 and the 2/2 into his dudes. Oh, and look, now he's gonna. If we think about the yeah, so like he's gonna lose these guys. That's a really weird trade. I'm not sure why you would just hit that into the Divine Shield and pass the turn. Suggest maybe like a Lightning Storm or something? I'm just sorry, I got a bit distracted there, but I was thinking like, if he had traded off for these two guys, this guy would have not had a Divine Shield, this guy would have been like a 2/2. And then he'd have been able to trade both of them into one guy, and there would be no flame in play. So he'd be in the same situation, except his opponent wouldn't have a Flame Juggler and he wouldn't have a Flame Juggler.
The light protects me.
I think that's better. I guess he would also have 4 less face damage. But then his opponent's also dealt 4 face damage to him with that guy, so it's kind of an even trade-off there too. So just mono lightning bolts to draw for ButtonMen. Yeah, I think he's incentivized, if he's playing Ancestral Knowledges here, to oh, again, I quite like clearing this thing since you're the guy who's drawing cards. Maybe that's wrong. He's only going to have 3 mana next turn, so it's going to be a bit of a... and he has the Shaman Hero power too. Like, if the game goes long, Button's probably quite advantaged. And there's a real risk in letting a Tunnel Troll live. Plus, now he gets to get the value trade with the Divine Shield into the 2/2. So I understand that he wants to push damage, but I just think that that was possibly a slightly over-aggressive play. Also, Horse Rider is good, but I think Lightning Bolting the Tunnel Trog is basically forced at this point, if you want to get any value out of your hero. And he's going to follow it up with Ancestral Knowledge, so he's only going to have 4 mana next turn, which means he still can't deploy the Doomhammer. Warrockbiter is a superb draw, means he is only a little bit of damage away from actually just killing his opponent outright. Rockbiter plus Wind Fury is 10 damage. I've got to hope that his opponent doesn't roll a taunt at some point, and also that his opponent can't kill him in the meantime. So I think next turn what you do is you play the Horse Rider and you buff it with the Abusive Sergeant and the attack face, you put him to 11. And then you can follow that up next turn with, if any of your creatures survive, you can use the Abusive Sergeant to create lethal. Otherwise, any draw that deals damage to your opponent kills him, assuming he doesn't find a taunt here. So it looks like his board is going to be cleared. The Divine Shields will find their way from that. So I'm not sure. Anything with haste, because he has the Abusive Sergeant. Anything with... God, all these token rolls. Does he roll the taunt token? Does he roll the taunt? He rolls the taunt, so that's a huge deal. And I think that probably locks Buttons out of the game, so he can... he's facing lethal next turn, 3/6/8. Well, not with that hit. 3, 6, 9, 10. So he can Doomhammer away the Taunt Totem and Doomhammer his opponent's face. I think that's basically the line he has to go for. Well, killing the 1/1 does others as well.
Get in there and fight, maggot!
Problem is it doesn't actually change the clock because you take the 1 damage either way. Oh, looks like his opponent has lethal. Just a rock biter here or his own doom hammer. Yeah, just a lightning bolt for lethal. So, looks like it's 2-0 to GreyIce. Buttons went for the aggressive lines. I really feel like, I'm not sure he could have controlled that board, but I think making an effort to puts him in a better position to win the game. Although he became very close to winning it, he was like... the problem was he both had to deal with the taunt totem and find some way to push the last point of damage. The flame juggler could have hit face, but of course it didn't. Yeah, getting the 3-4 off the Tuscar totem is always so brutal. It's like, hey, I played this 3 mana like and got 3-2 plus I got like 6-6. No, it's more than that. 6 worth of stats across 2 bodies for 3 mana. Seems good, man. Seems good. And some of the power and toughness ratios of the new cards they've added in Old Gods are completely outrageous. If you look at Flame Wreathed Faceless, that is a 6 mana. You tend to count overloaded mana as the mana cost, right?
Valera versus Gul'dan.
It's the naive way people do it. Although overloaded mana tends to actually be slightly better than non-overloaded mana, and then on top of that, it's a 6 mana 7/7, just like straight up, which is already a point above the curve, and you can play it 2 turns early, which is completely insane. And sometimes, and it synergizes with your 1/3 Trogs, and you can sometimes like unlock it if you're playing Lava Shocks or whatever, and then not have to pay the extra 2 mana that you would have otherwise had to pay. Or then there's that new 6 drop that the mage got, which is a 5/5 that summons a random 3/3, not random 3/3, but random 3 drop. Think about how much power and toughness the average 3 drop has. On curve it's a 3/4, right? Holy crap. You get... compare that to Silverhand Knight. It's insane, right? I don't know. And I don't think it even sees that much play. So we have an Ancient Watcher here, so this is almost certainly some kind of hand lock or Reno lock kind of deck. The fact that he's playing this out suggests it's more likely, in turn 2, suggests it's more likely hand than Reno. Sorry, Reno than hand. If it was Reno lock, if it was hand lock, you probably want to keep it in hand if you're on Twilight Drakes. I'm not even sure hand lock is really a deck anymore, to be honest. I think most of these controlling Warlock decks these days tend to be more Reno-y. But anyway, we'll see. Here's a 2-3. That was a pretty good draw. He didn't really have anything he wanted to do that turn. It was maybe going to like attack face and re-dagger, or like play a Farseer or something. Something that would have just been deeply unimpressive. If he hadn't drawn the 2-3. Instead he gets to buff his Cocoons, now an 8-8.
Shields up.
And there we are, there's the 2-3, gives taunt, makes it so that he's going to have to attack into this thing at some point. I think I like playing the Tomb Pillager here and just being able to break past the Ancient Watcher that way. Because, I don't know, the Eviscerate feels like it's super good against a class that likes to use its life total as a resource. And then hide behind big taunts to protect the fact that it's drained itself to pretty low life totals. I think it's not unusual, and also being able to deal with this in-game loss has been pretty good. So even though that's like more the game plan of handlock and Reno lock, the giant dudes, etc., etc. I still think it would have been.
Thank you.
It's still something this deck can do, and just being able to burst it down, say perhaps a turn earlier than he expects with double Eviscerate, and something like that, if you've got the second Eviscerate, is quite valuable. Of course, doing this doesn't get to... And the other thing is, if you just play the 5/4, you risk it getting removed, like what happened there. So I mean, it's not completely outrageous to do what Buttons just did with the eviscerate. I just really like having an eviscerate in my hand against a class like this. He coins out the sprint here using the coin that he got from his 5/4. Now he's the one who has just as many cards in hand as his warlock opponent, which has got to be good. I'm not sure which deck, like in the abstract, which deck is better lately. This Cthulhu Rogue, which I've never seen before. I've seen Cthulhu Rogue type lists, but like this particular Cthulhu Rogue I haven't seen before. Or like the Reno Lock deck. The Reno Lock deck ends up playing a lot of kind of strange early game cards like in Gang Boss or Earthen Farseer, for example, which are very strong,
Funnel cake.
but they aren't pulling towards the same game plan of pushing you miles over the edge in the late game. He's actually drawn more cards than the Warlock, thanks to that sprint. And he also has this ticking time bomb with the Cthulhu, and presumably he has the 9 drops that pump the Cthulhu by killing something, and then so that's also potentially something that's going to be a problem for the Warlock deck moving forwards. That said, it is still a control deck, right? It's not like so he can probably just Disciple Cthulhu this. Wow, he gets a Fist of Jaraxxus. Now there's a card. Yeah, he does have the Blade of Cthulhu. So I think Disciple is really the PRECON deck. It's got an epic, it's got some legendaries in it. I'm a bit surprised. I think I may have been trolled. He's going to try Fisting of Jaraxxus. I'll give it a good fisting. Misses, hits the face. Because Fist of Jaraxxus is a completely awful card, which is just dreadful. The upside to Fist of Jaraxxus, of course, is that in this situation, is that he got it for free. Like the problem with a card like Fist of Jaraxxus is it's wildly overcosted for its mana cost, and you don't want to put it in your deck. But it is still a resource you can use. Like it's not like holy shit. So this is one reason why the Warlock might be advantaged. If he's playing big legendaries like Alex Straza, but of course he does have the answer into his Blade of Cthulhu, and getting +8/+8 on Cthulhu is obviously pretty sick. He has a heal and a big double taunt in hand as well, so it doesn't feel like he's at any risk of immediately dying. Wow, a 4/10. You can potentially like assassinate that. He has an assassinating hand, so it's not that scary. Problem is, it's preventing him from really advancing his game plan.
Why do you go?
So presume what I think you do here is you attack here, assassinate here, play this and this. Just keep like drawing cards, try and keep your life total as high as possible. I think the alternative is you just play the Twin Emperor and the Earthen Ring Farseer. He's going to go with the sap on this guy, and then Twin Emperor. I mean it's also a reasonable line, right? Like
Feast of
you get 2 full 6 taunts. Oops, he accidentally mills a card there, losing. What was he lose? I can't see the mill. Oh, that's a shame. Sure, if you want to know, you can go back in the video, or just have been paying more attention than I was.
The end is coming!
So he could assassinate that, but I think you just like pass the turn. And who cares? You could heal yourself. You could assassinate Huckster. Like assassinate Huckster, Unearthed Raptor seems like it's going to be a turn at some point, or just because it uses your mana so efficiently.
I knew it!
Yeah, so I think that's what's going on here. If he's playing the Hut,
You want
no, he's going to go with the healer instead, which is reasonable. I think I prefer getting the Raptor down, even though when he is playing a Doomsayer like that on an empty board, it's just he desperately wants the tempo. 3-5 taunt and a 2-2. So now he does this. Flame Imp is not the card he's really looking for here. Holy crap! Isn't Nzoth in this deck as well? Here comes Boom. Here he comes. So that's like dog average result, right? You wipe your opponent's board and deal a bunch of damage. I suspect there's a Reno coming down here, but Reno's not enough on his own. He also has to kill this. But you probably... holy shit. Is he going to kill it now? Shadow... line. I love it. Oh my god, he draws the Shadow Step. Wow. Yeah, this is also a pretty good line though. I think at this point you can afford to dagger his face if you want to. And he can Shadow Step Nzoth instead. It does mean that he doesn't have lethal if one of these guys gets removed, but it also means that he has the opportunity to get significantly more value out of his Nzoth, so I think it's a defensible play. Probably even the right line, right? Because he knows he's got, there's a Reno coming at some point, so trying to shove likely isn't going to work. That's pretty good. He can put that between these two, attack this in here, it gets left as a 6-1.
My shield.
He can't kill the Drake and attack it for 5, that is obviously not lethal. He can also attack these two in here if he wants to just kill the Drake no matter what. Which he might do. Looks like he's not going to. Is he going to attack face again? No, he's going to clear the Reno. I think clearing the Reno makes sense. I think at least clearing the Reno makes sense because it's such a value play, right? Like attacking your 6-5 into... what is it? Anyway, yeah, 6-5 into his 4-6. It's like, okay, that is the precise definition of value. I mean, how many cards are left in his decks now? So only 5 cards left in his deck. So he can't like
Your
hack
magic
that
shall
much
not
more.
save
Oh, he's really trying to force his way through at this point, it looks like. I don't know, maybe not. A Void Terror. Interesting. There's no temporary buffs in Rogue, I think. Which is what you mostly want to try and get. Oh my god, that's so good here. He gets to put that on this guy, trade it into his 4-4, and like, just, yeah, beautiful. Hopefully he gets something here that we can use. Succubus is killing us. He really doesn't want to Succubus and lose Nzoth, so he probably is going to hold that in hand for a while. There's a good question about whether you actually even play this thing.
Screaming.
I can see an argument for not doing it. It looks like he's not going to do it either. That's the line he's going to take. I'm not sure if there's any like burst combos in this Reno lock deck, but it's not. But you saw a Faceless Manipulator. It's quite plausible that there might be like a little bit of Leroy Jenkins plus Power Overwhelming going on with like the Peddlers to try and push the damage on your Leroy Jackson. In which case, Leroy plus say 2 Power Overwhelmings is 14 damage. So
You
yeah,
missed
not dealing that damage himself is defensible. This is scary. Jaraxxus is the Eredar Lord of the Burning Legion, as we all know, which means that he likes to hit people with his Legion set up here. Now he's dead. Oh, that's a good draw. So now he can play this and like with silver harvest.
I have no time
Protected
for games.
against dying. Actually, he's not protected because you can just swing it into his face and then double power. But he's protected from a single power overwhelming. So we'll see what happens here. Hellfire. Oh boy, that's scary. Because the leaves way more lethal. Here's the Leroy. Does he have the power overwhelming? He has the power overwhelming. So Buttons was playing around it all game, but in the end, despite scoring the twist, it wasn't enough. Oh boy. And see, if he'd had the eviscerate there. There we go. 3-0 for GreyIce.